Hi everyone, this is my video about what's wrong with Bullet Train. So I just saw this on Netflix, I think, actually, the other day, and I was quite surprised that I liked it. In fact, I think I kind of loved it, although I need to qualify that. I don't think I loved the movie so much as the experience of watching it and how it made me feel. In that it was a popcorn movie that knew it was a popcorn movie. It didn't want to be anything other than a popcorn movie. And it was actually a pretty good popcorn movie. So this came out, I think this was the first major release after the lockdown ended. But as you might remember, the lockdown ended a few different times. But that's how I remember. It was one of the first major releases when theaters started to reopen, or not have as many rules as they had before. And I saw the trailer and I was like, this is so... First of all, this is just generic. The other thing is that it seemed very old. So while I did like this movie, it's a retro movie and nobody's talking about this. This movie is essentially the big hit, which came out 20 years ago. And it's even more like all of those not Tarantino but post-Tarantino quirky criminals who make pop culture references. Like, this is basically a nostalgia trip, and nobody mentioned that. So I think it was adapted from a Japanese novel. I skimmed the Wikipedia. I saw a couple of articles about Bullet Train whitewashes the Japanese characters. Yeah, well, it also whitewashed the language. It's not filmed in Japanese, so what do you want? It's an American movie, and they're going to put American stars, and, you know, it has a diverse cast, all of that. So the story is, I don't know, quirky assassins. It was directed by David Leitch, who was one of the co-directors, even though he didn't get credited for John Wick. He split, and then he directed Atomic Blonde, which I hated for the first third, and then I stuck with it. And then I actually liked it, the rest of it. He did Hobbs and Shaw, which was very mediocre. He did Deadpool 2, which was, again, very mediocre. But apparently he knows what normies like. He has a very solid history of making things that normies really like. And normies love this. I was so confused. I thought it was going to be a flop. When I saw that trailer, I was like, this is so old. So it's Brad Pitt being Brad Pitt. And he's like a freelance secret agent, but not an assassin, although that's not made clear till later in the movie. This guy Carver drops out. He's got to take on a simple assignment that gets more complicated. If you've seen any of those post-Tarantino movies from 1995 to, I don't know, when did they stop making those? 2002, something like that? You've seen it. Quirky and weird, and oh, the person you thought was dead, they're not really dead. But there is something so pleasing about it, from the casting to the look, literally just the colors they pick. Most of it is filmed on the set of a train, a bullet train, which goes slower than you would think. It's not anywhere near the speed of a bullet. I guess it's not as dramatic to call it faster than average train. So they call these trains bullet trains, and okay. There literally should have been like a speed test at some point. Somebody tries to shoot it, and you're like, oh, I just really easily hit it with my bullet. I don't think it's anywhere near the speed of a bullet. So anyway, a bunch of quirky assassins are chasing after a briefcase. They actually show what's in the briefcase. It's just valuables. They don't have it glow and just be all mysterious. It's a briefcase, and there's the son of a Yakuza leader, and it's fun. I'm not going to waste your time. It's all plot. I think they try to do a little bit of a theme here and there about like learning from your mistakes. It's a popcorn movie. Is it funny? I think I laughed a couple times, but I don't remember the joke, and usually I remember the joke when I laugh. It wasn't supposed to be funny. It's not really a comedy. It's meant to be amusing. It was definitely there for amusing. The fights were okay. At one point, right before the major fight with the major amount of CGI, Brad Pitt, he's kind of got that mullet thing that he's had for the last few years. So he puts it into a ponytail, and I was like, why would he just put it into a ponytail? Because it's easier when they do the 3D model of him. They only have to animate the ponytail instead of all of his hair flowing. It's like, okay, so you guys saved $100,000 with his ponytail. Everything's very pleasant and pleasing. I do have to say this because I notice it in everything now. When a black actor is cast, you kind of realize that they're only going to be able to go so far. The white characters and the Asian characters, they can be really underhanded. They can lie a lot. They can do some really grimy stuff. But once you meet that one of the assassins is a black guy, you kind of know he's going to sacrifice himself for someone. He's going to be bad, but not that bad. So it was just one of those things I noticed. I go, he's not going to be able to do much. And he wasn't able to do much. But they weren't able to kill him off, even though technically he, quote, died twice. There was some writing that was pretty bad. At one point, Zazie Beetz shows up, and her whole character is she says bitch in every sentence. I mean, she dies quickly, so it's like, I feel like a lot of that was ad-libbed. They got Channing Tatum, who, I know it's such a cliche, Tom Cruise never ages. He ages. He just looks good for his age. Tom Cruise in his 50s looks like a man in his 50s. He just looks like a well put together, wealthy man who can afford skin treatments and a personal trainer and good food and his own gym and all that type of stuff. He looks like he's in his 50s. He just looks good. Channing Tatum has not aged in 20 years. He hasn't had a haircut. I don't think his hair grows. I think he's unstuck in time. And there is a portrait of him aging, you know, with a carpet over it in an attic somewhere. So he's in there. He's good. Zazie Beetz was kind of lame. Most of the people are good except for, I'm blanking on his name. He played Zod in Man of Steel. He's supposed to be a Russian. He's supposed to be very intimidating. He is neither. He is not intimidating. The only cool thing he does is he has this revolver and he spins the cylinder on his arm, and that's kind of cool, but that also might have been a stuntman doing that because we don't see his face when he does that. But overall, I actually kind of loved it from the beginning. It was just kind of good, and it was fun. It had a good tone. It had a good pace. Likable actors. It was just kind of nice. At the end, it kind of gets just really stupid. They crash into this Japanese village that apparently has nobody living in it. Then after like 10 minutes of destruction, like 3 people come out with like their coffee. Like, what was that? I don't know. It was a bullet train destroying like half your village. So, fun. See it or don't see it. The thing is, you don't miss much by not seeing it, except for to be pleasantly amused for 2 hours, which is okay. I felt like that alone earned my $8-10 a month for Netflix. So yeah, it's a recommend. Check it out. Thanks for watching. Bye.